This is C.R.P.H.A. Humanitarian Advocate. The reason why I'm standing up right now is because simply I thought I'd try something different here. Anyway, there's two things now. Uh, Currently, there's been a number of, well, actually, there might be more than two things, actually. Pardon me there. Anyways, currently there's been a number of things going on, even before this COVID-19 situation, and pandemic or issue or what have you else and whatnot, of course, which basically I know the government and the Democratic side of it are banking in the bucks and the stock percentages in the Orients, and yet I know they'll deny it, as I've mentioned before. And the other thing is that the very thing that supports this, the very anthem that supports this flag, every time the thing's played, even in the 4th of July, we see this flag flapping there, don't we? Now is because there's speculative things saying that whether it's true or not, I'm not going to say. Um, there's a saying that the composer of the national anthem had slave had slaves. So he was a slave owner essentially, just like a number of our presidents in this country's history. Uh, and I will post the video that states that, which is interviewing Trish Regan. Uh, and I respect Trish Regan, guaranteed, because she's telling the American people the truth, just like I do. The one thing is also is that regardless of when the composer or composers of the time had any particular thing that we may not agree with and we do not agree with for any given reason, um, even in today's day and age. Um, it is it is logical to understand is that we don't agree with slavery. That slavery is a sinful thing, even in the spiritual sense. Yes, but that the national anthem has been with this in this country and with this country, and it's been a supportive song or theme uh, in 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 what has helped us go through loads of shit. I mean, there's been trepidation, turmoils, and such like that, right? Those songs, besides America the Beautiful, have helped us through a lot of things, even during wars and whatnot, right? But the one thing is that why fuck, why change it? Why switch it? It's understandable that we don't agree with what happened way back when, even when the song was first composed and written. But we can't look at the negative of things even in the past. We need to look at what helped us through it, which is positive. So it's better to not fuck with historical things, regardless of what happened in the past. Um, Say, for example, if the composer and the writer and the composer had particular things that we don't agree with, that's then. This is now. And we've gone through, like I said, we've gone through loads of shit. We've gone through a lot of shit. We're even going through even a number of things, even in today's day and age. So even if the writer and composer had slaves, and he's now generally considered a slave owner, much like our presidents in our country's history were also slave owners, or at least what was said to be anyway. Why don't we start just focusing on the positive? Don't worry about what was then, even if a percentage of it was wrong and sinful. Okay, it's best to see and remember what the composer and why the composer wrote the national anthem and why the other composers wrote the other things for this country in what we've seen this flag flap in while it's playing even during the 4th of July. The positive is always a good thing to look at. The negative, you. Okay, now, and over the years, there's been a number of states in this country taking down statues of people due to slavery, various other things, right? But those statues were of people and are of people who helped us get through the Revolutionary War and many other things. That that helped us build this country to the way it is in a positive sense. So logically, if the states don't want them to be in public viewing out in the out near various types of buildings, even government or state buildings, it's better to put them in surrounding areas like museums and such like that. Don't take them down to where they're non-existent, because that's part of our country. And like I said, just like the national anthem, and just like many other things that have gone through many many things that are sinful and wrong. Outside of the sinful and wrong situations, the men and women of those eras helped this country become the way it is. And we need to, like I said, we need to focus on the positive on it. What was then was then. That was the past. That was the belief system was different then. It was believed that it was okay to have slaves. It was okay to have various things, like even in the aspect of hangings, and even in the aspect of blindfold shooting of executions. You know, we learn as we go. We each one of our ancestors and the many people who helped make this country become what it is, learned as they went, right? But aside from their belief then, they focused on the positive. They helped us strive for for the better, right? The liberal Democrats, unfortunately, are doing the opposite of it. Starting with Gavin Newsom and Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, to start with, and a number of those who are following the same bullshit actions and statements, and in having us think that, the strain is not here. Is not here. Even though we've had triple digit temperatures in a number of states, even double digit high temperatures in a number of states, the strain would be dead. And I've said this before. In Arizona, Nevada, California, to name a few, have had triple digit temperatures. The strain's dead. We had a weak strain come into the U.S. of the COVID-19, and yet there's supposedly supposed to be a secondary strain. That is a mental manipulative thing done by the liberal Democrats. There's no conclusive base of saying that the weak strain was was long enough to where it would be able to go into a second strain aspect. Or you know, the one thing is that all it is the liberal Democrats trying to mentally manipulate us into something that's not really there. And even Donald J. Trump himself went to a campaign to went to a rally of his with no mask covering his face, right? That was showing his willfulness and showing that he's not going to fall for the bullshit led by the liberal Democrats of saying of the particular pandemic, like we're supposed to be some sort of like controlled minions. The liberal Democrats are starting their fucking bullshit of socialism in such a way, even though it's under the administration of Trump, but Trump is fighting against it. Okay? Trump is not any has no part in the socialism thing that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Gavin Newsom and many others are trying to implement. Even in the aspect of the COVID-19 thing, all it is so their stock in the Orient can go up even further and to where they can bank it in more in their pockets. They're taking advantage of us American people. They're mental manipulating the American people and believing something that's not really there. They're supposed to be doing things that that flag and the Constitution stands for, and that benefit us American people. The liberal Democrats, starting with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, have not done that. They're going against that to their own agenda, to what benefits them. And I've said this before, they've been doing this even since Obama, even before Obama. But in such a secret little fucking way, even in the sense that when they have promised us a lot of shit, yet they've gone against many of the promises in each of the damn campaigns. Which basically shows that they don't want to do what is best and beneficial for the American people and our youth in this country. They want to only do what's beneficial for them. While they're on this planet, they want to do something that's beneficial for them, that benefits them and their party, which is very sinful and not, and is basically un-American and ungodly. And it's a big fucking time type of a sin, essentially. But they think that the American people will believe everything that they tell us because we're supposed to trust them, right? Guess what? We can go to the points of not trusting the liberal Democrats, but we also can go to the points of trusting only one party. The one party that has not done us wrong since the 1980s, during Reagan, the Ronald Reagan, and who I salute and thank for his service. George H.W. Bush, and the George H.W. Bush, essentially, the George Bush Sr. and George Bush Jr. But the one thing is now, with that though, is that along the way, besides Jimmy Carter going against Trump, and yet Jimmy Carter during the Reagan and Carter campaign, Jimmy Carter has spoken of a lot of shit of what's beneficial for this country and for the American people, that he believed that the American people would go by what he said during the campaign between him and Reagan. But Reagan stood more than forthright. He went to the points to where everything that he said, he didn't even attack, he didn't go against Carter as much as Carter went against him. As Carter tried to defame Reagan. He tried to insult Reagan. He tried to say things that were not even logical or nor even realistic and actual fact of Reagan, even while he mentioned Reagan being California's governor. He was just making it up as he went, or as his little party in the back was telling him what of how to bring things up in since they're trying to go against Reagan. That didn't work, dumbass Carter, and neither is going against Trump. You go against Trump, you're going against the country. Carter had the highest unpopular rating in the US. And that's one thing that they kept hidden from the American people. The gas prices kept on going up. He didn't do a damn thing to keep them from going as high as they have in the 1970s, where people had to pay more than they really can afford, even with the economic situations of employment, and while people were trying to support their families and raise their families, even back then. And a number of them had to go over to Frisco and various other counties to, for work and whatnot. Now the liberals are trying it again, but in this case with the COVID-19 situation, or I should say the pandemic. We already know what it is. So Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer need to realize one thing. You want to stay in office? You want to stay in the seat that you hold right now? You need to quit being an un-American little fuckhead and quit saying things that are not true. Quit trying to implement things that are not true. Quit trying to set things up that are sinful and not true towards the American people, because the American people didn't do a damn thing to you, and yet you want to fucking go against the American people, and yet you're going against this country and the freedoms and the rights of the American people by gradually sneaking in your agenda, your socialist agenda. Socialism is a sin, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, Whether you want to believe it or not, get this. Also, those who go in with the socialist agenda, when your time is up on this planet, it can end. You don't know when it's going to end. And this is no threat. This is a damn spiritual promise. In the tribunal courts, this is going to be a promise. Guaranteed. You keep on with this sinful socialist agenda, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and the entire cabinet, and within every part of the liberal Democratic Party. You keep on with this agenda that only benefits you and your own and the fucking Democratic Party. And you stop doing things that are beneficial for the American people. Even if you're not taken out by constitutional aspects and regulations and what have you else, even that the Constitution states, you will, without a doubt, be judged more than harshly, more than heavily by Heavenly Father Himself and our Savior for your illogical, sinful actions and statements and many other things. Thereby, you will not see the pearly gates of heaven. You will not see the angels and trumpets and everything else in white cloth, in white sparkly type cloth, however you want to look at it. You will not stand side by side with Heavenly Father, even though He loves you as a human being and He can see the true person within you. He can see the true person within each and every one of us. But He will not let you slide right by or skate right by and get away with that type of shit of mental manipulation towards the American people and our youth, especially when it comes to this COVID-19 situation or the general pandemic, just so you can bank in the dollars, just so you can benefit you and yourself and your party. There's ways that, as the old saying goes, karma's a bitch. There's ways that you will, without even realizing it or even expecting it, that your little bit of its existence will be affected. You who have done nothing but un-American actions, sinful socialist actions that only benefit you, that don't benefit this country, and it will do more than harm to this country and the American people and our rights and freedoms. And you will be held more than accountable for it. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Gavin Newsom. Especially when it comes to the so-called second strain shit. When you know damn well there's no second strain, because you know damn well also that the fucking strain that came in the fucking U.S. was weak. And with the triple digit temperatures and the double high digit temperatures, the damn thing's gone and dead. No, but you want people to be mentally manipulated and believe something else that's not really there. Thereby, we have to keep on wearing masks, just so you feel that you're justified and what have you else, and that you think that by doing this type of shit, you're gonna fucking be able to go in the fucking White House. The very thing that even Obama made sure is no longer known as the People's White House. Because it was the house that orchestrated socialist actions and the general beginning steps of the agenda of socialism. That house is not for that sinful un-American action. That house went through hell already. It doesn't need to go through another bit of hell. This country has gone through hell already. We don't need it. We don't need your fucking crap to make it more difficult for this country to go through the things that it doesn't really have to go through. And along with its people having to be forced to go through shit, or even mentally manipulated into going through shit that's not really there, especially. And things that we don't have to go through just because you believe it's necessary when it's not really necessary. Even in logic, it's not necessary. And you know this, but you just don't want to have people go there, because if you have people go there, then you'll be very unsupported of, right? Get this. Everybody respects everybody in their own way and level, with the fact of each person seen as a human being, even if they're not always treated that way. But the basic fact is, people who manipulate others are not well respected, nor are they trusted. Nor will they ever be recommended for anything, no matter, even if it is a position in anything whatsoever, even after your time in office, even before your time in office, even in between your time in office, even anything, especially in the spiritual sense, especially. So Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Gavin Newsom, and the entire base of the liberal Democratic Party, you better take heed to what I say. Because what I say in the spiritual sense is more than true and more than factual. You can laugh at it all you want, even if you are watching this video and you're laughing about it and whatnot else. Get this. I may be talking a lot of shit to you and to your supporters and to the voters. But I can also go as far as this, to where Heavenly Father himself will also show, not only you, that what I say will and can happen if the socialism bullshit and the mental manipulative bullshit happens continuously. There's no need for socialism. There was never a need for socialism. Hell, there was not even a need for socialism during the Hitler regime. But Hitler didn't give a damn. He lost his fucking mind. It could have been the way he was raised, treated by his parents or father, or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But the basic fact is that he knew as he got older right from wrong, but he decided to go completely overboard. You were treated the same way, obviously, but maybe in a different manner, in a different sense, and what have you else. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. But get this, your actions as adults, especially as they were from teenage on up, your actions are going to be judged against you, not for you, against you, in the tribunal courts, in heaven, and even after judgment by Heavenly Father and our Savior themselves. You think you're going to be forgiven? You're only forgiven so far, but you're taking it to the extra level, and a level that should never be gone reached at all, in the negative sense, of course. You want to be respected, you don't need to go to that negative extreme of socialism. You want to be you want to be revered, even in history, in a positive light. You don't go towards the end, towards anything negative, especially in the base of socialism. You don't even go towards socialism whatsoever. You don't go against the American people and our rights and freedoms. You don't go against this country in any negative way either. You don't, and each time you go against the American people, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Gavin Newsom, and the rest of the fucking party of the Democratic Party, if you go against the American people, you're not only going against me and many others out there, but you're also going against what that flag stands for that you claim to fucking support and fucking honor. And you're also going against the Constitution, in which I know you don't honor. And I know each time you do that, you will never be revered in a positive way. You will never be seen or viewed in any positive way, even in our history. The only person in the Democratic Party that has been seen in a positive way is John Franklin Kennedy himself. To start. You won't be viewed in such of a positive. Because if you, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Gavin Newsom, and the rest of the liberal Democratic Party, even Biden himself, you will be the most demised, hated, and the most base of where it'll be going to the base where you will be a sign of actions never to go, because you will be seen as a bad word, in another way of putting it, a bad view of this country and what this country had to endure. There's a lot of things that the country had to endure in its past, but we were able to get by it and through it. But this is going to be shortened, because Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, your life and soul are in heavy question, spiritually and ethically. And while you're in that office and within the seat, you're demonizing the party that was formed to benefit this country and the American people. You want to separate church and state next? You want to separate not only the American people and divide the American people? You're going to go straight to hell for those actions, and even anything that goes towards your agenda, you're going to be judged for, and you will most definitely be in hell's pit. The only thing you'll see is fire and brimstone after judgment. I care about this country. I know a number of other people that care about this country besides Trump. And I care about the American people. If Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Gavin Newsom and the rest of the liberal fucking dumbass Democrats don't, then they can get the fuck out of the party, and we can get people in there that do give a damn about this country and the American people, and that will more than benefit the American people, and that will not go against the American people or this country, and ones that will not go against the Constitution or even what this flag stands for. Even if we have to rename the Democratic Party to the Independent Party and or the Green Party to start. So I'm gonna put it straight up to you, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, Gavin Newsom, and Darrell Steinberg, and many others in the Democratic Party, in the Liberal Socialist Democratic Party, you continue with this agenda and the mind manipulation against the American people? And are you? The longer it goes, and the longer you strive towards the socialist agenda, the heavier the sin will be on your back and shoulders, and it'll weigh your sorry asses down, and you won't even know what the fuck is wrong and what the fuck is going on or why. You'll just know it's happening to you. And many things along that path will go against you just as much as you've gone against this country and the American people and our freedoms and rights, even in the sense of mind manipulating the American people. And even it'll be done the same way to the socialist liberal idiots in New York City and state and county, and any other state that has a democratic idiots in it. The only way that it won't be weighed down onto you is if you start doing things that are beneficial for this country, for the American people and our youth, and what this flag stands for, and what this and you better fucking start supporting them and backing the current Constitution, and be rid of the socialist agenda for good. You have 72 hours to decide. And if it's still that you want to go to the base of socialist agenda that only benefits you and the party, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Gavin Newsom, Biden, Darrell Steinberg, and the entire base of the liberal socialist democratic party, you might as well step down, because this country deserves better than you. The American people deserve better than you. But even if and when you do step down, know this: it won't lessen the spiritual judgment, even in the tribunal courts, against you. Because while you're still on this planet and you do more negative things, even outside of office, that will be added onto it. Even while you're still in office, but not in the Capitol in Washington D.C. and doing your own personal bullshit. And if you do anything negative or wrong, believe me, that will be added to. Even if you vocalize anything sinful, that'll be added to. Even as you tore the paper, Nancy Pelosi, even though that's your agency and right, but your reasons were not logical, nor nor were they unsinful. So basically, your very existence is going to stay in question. it will go and it will stay in question so far, even when and if you decide to steer away from the socialist agenda, and even if and when you decide to steer away from benefiting yourselves and your party, and even when and if you decide to steer away from going against the American people, in which you have gone against the American people more than once already. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Biden, Gavin Newsom, Darrell Steinberg, and the entire members and the entire Democratic, Socialist, Democratic, Liberal Party, you and your very actions are going to be in question spiritually, ethically, logically, and everything in every other way. I don't care if you're laughing at this, but I speak the truth. I've always spoken the truth to and for the American people since 2004. The basic fact is that this country deserves to be strengthened, not weakened. With the liberal democratic actions, it can be weakened. With the American people fighting against the negative, sinful, un-American, unconstitutional actions, it can be strengthened. And the unconstitutional, un-American actions are done by the liberal Democrats already, starting with Gavin Newsom in California, Darrell Steinberg in California, Nancy Pelosi, that's supposed to be benefiting California and is doing a half-ass, poor-ass job about it. Chuck Schumer, I don't really give a damn what state he's supposed to be representing. But I do care about the American people nonetheless. And in my book, and I know in many other people's book, the liberal Democrats are not American. They're un-American. Those who go against the American people, those who try to mentally manipulate the American people and our youth, like the liberal Democrats are doing even at current, are un-American, not to be respected and revered in any positive way at all. And those same people will be going to straight to the base of hell and brimstone and hell's pit. They'll be face to face with Satan himself. And you'll be able to see Hitler as well, guaranteed. You'll be able to have words with him once you're down there. Even if you try to make things better before your life is done on this planet, it won't matter, because you have written your soul's path already, and your soul's path doesn't go to heaven after judgment. And that is to the Liberal Democratic Party, the Liberal Socialist Democratic Party, that is. Even with the ones that I named and the ones I didn't name. You can call them, and you can also say it goes to the party members as well of the Liberal Socialist Democratic Party. Many of you I know can see the seriousness of what I said. Yes, I'm a strong spiritual person in my own right. We all are in our own right, the best way we know how to be, right? But the basic fact is, I don't make threats. I make promises, spiritual as well as otherwise. The promises that I know that I can keep. The promises that will be backed by Heavenly Father Himself and by what this flag stands for and by the Constitution itself. And by what Donald J. Trump will also support. I know that. Because Donald J. Trump is doing what is right for this country. He's done that ever since he got in office in 2016. And he's going to continue doing so in 2020. He's already doing it now, even though the election hasn't been going on. It's only debate after campaign debate after campaign debate, whatever, right? But the basic fact is that while he's in office, he's been doing what's right for this country, what's right for the American people and our youth, what's right for the economy, what's right for everything within every positive level and what have you. But I'm gonna just add one. One did you think so? Just where I started off at, right? To the states that took down the statues, I hope you didn't tear those statues apart after you've taken them down. Because those statues are a reminder of what helped make this country, aside from their negative past, of what we don't agree with. And things that we don't believe in. That may make them a bad person in that light. But what about the light that where they contributed? They put more than a contribution in helping what made this country what it is, in helping build this country to what it is, in helping to build this country to what it can become in a positive light. And believe me, a positive light does not consist of socialism. It consists of something away from socialism. The and with that, there's still a campaign question by a number of media idiots saying, "Do you agree? Do you like the aspect of socialized medicine?" No, it may be a cheap way to a certain extent, but there's ways to make things affordable without it being socialized anything. There's ways to make things affordable for the American people and our senior citizens in this country, and our vets, our senior vets, our homeless vets, and the entire population of the American people, and for the parents that are raising our youth. And we can make things even better for our youth as well as for ourselves. We don't need socialism or socialized anything to do that and to make it possible for a positive light. Arizona green tea, even though it says Snapple on it, it's Arizona green tea. So basically, I'm going to keep on going against the socialist liberal Democrats till they change their ways. They may not change their ways, which basically means even by the Constitution itself and what this flag stands for. I'm supporting what this flag stands for, and I'm fighting alongside this flag. And I will fight alongside the Constitution and for the Constitution and for the American people. And I will do it in ways that the liberal Democrats won't expect. And I don't give a damn about the liberal Democrats because they don't give a damn about the American people. All they care about is one, and the one being themselves, which basically means they're closed-minded, one-sided little fuckheads. Unconstitutional, un-American little fuckheads. You want to face me, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Biden, Gavin Newsom, Darrell Steinberg, any liberal dumbass Democrat want to fucking face me? Even Obama himself? Come on. I'm right here. Try to dumb me down. You won't be able to. You won't even have the heart to. But because you know damn well what I say and what I have said in each one of my advocate videos of C.R.P.H.A. besides this one is more than right. And more than conclusive. Everybody may have a different understanding and different, shall we say, viewpoints. Hey, that's all well and good. That's good. I support that. As an advocate, I support it. Okay? But the basic fact is, what I said and what I have been saying will carry through on its own. Whether people go by it or not, that's up to them. Whether people go and add on to it that would also connect to it and maybe in their own way of thinking that would totally go against the liberal democratic idiots and their socialist bullshit. You know, it's okay. I'll still support it. But the basic fact is that anything that goes against this country and the American people and our youth and this flag and the Constitution and the songs that were written for this flag and for this country, I will not support those that go against it. Yes, the thing I will go against is slavery. But like I said earlier, in the time of when the songs like the national anthem was written, it was deemed to be acceptable in the society of that era, that timeline of the timeline essentially. Well, we've gotten better. We can get better even than now. We can strive for more than excellence. We can strive away from socialism. We can strive away from everything that will tear this country apart. We can strive to be better than what the liberal Democratic Party has in their mind, in their base of agenda and viewpoints. Because their viewpoints are misguided. The liberal Democratic Party's viewpoints for and about this country and the American people are way more than misguided. It will take some time for many people to realize that, even of the voters of the Democratic Party. Time is of the essence, as it were. Life is also known to be short. So we need to do what we can do that we know is best for this country and for the for for this flag. In the Obama, even before, even during the Obama campaign and the administration, the beginning of the administration, people were thinking of defacing the flag with Obama's mug on it, with his little fucking little smiling ass face on it. You do not deface things like this. I don't care how revered you want to look at a person. You don't do that. You don't put it on something like this or anything that has any positive historical attributes or anything like this flag does and has. You don't do it to be showing any sort of like godlike fucking thing or anything else because the Bible also states you praise and worship anything beyond Heavenly Father Himself, you will surely be questioned and judged for it. Thereby, you will also sin, and that sin will carry on through your whole entire life, all the way through your entire existence. It doesn't state it that way, but you can be damn sure it goes to that extent. Thereby, you will be judged even in the tribunal courts if it goes to that point. Many people ask me, why am I advocating in my own? Do I deem it so important to do so? Look at what this country's gone through. Look at what the liberal democratic idiots are doing to this country and have even attempted to do to this country and the American people's rights, freedoms, and the American way of life and the base of survival for the American people within this country. There's nothing positive about it. Yes, we've gone through a lot of shit before, but we've been able to strive through. We've been able to survive through it. But things are harder now. It'll even become even harder as time goes on. If we had the technology and brought it back in time, we'd look like fucking like we're some sort of like witches or something, or some sort of strange being from another planet or something. We'd also be we'd be feared. We don't want to go. We wouldn't want that now, would we? We wouldn't want to go back in time and suddenly be feared by those who helped make this country what it is and what it can be and what it can become in a positive light. We'd want to be friends with them. We'd want to, you know, walk with them and talk with them and see what they're about now. And of course, even though the even on Back to the Future, for example, it is said if we talk about the future, it could distort the time constraints of the way things are done way back when, which could affect this time. But we can say it in such a way that it doesn't as well. But even if we do, there's no guarantee it'll affect it, but and possibly make things a lot better versus a lot worse. And the basic fact is, it all depends upon how they take it too. That's another, and how they go about it in action to start. So, do I agree with them changing the or screwing with the national anthem or anything that even that benefits this flag in this country? No, I don't. They better leave the national anthem as it is and and look at the positive, not the negative. For one, and what I said of the 72-hour Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and the rest of the Democratic Party, even the ones I mentioned earlier, you have still 72 hours. And after those 72 hours, you will only have two choices. One, step down. Get the fuck out of political office for good. Two, start doing things that are beneficial for the American people and this country and our youth. And steer away from the base of socialism and the agenda that can easily tear this country apart, and which I know you have no viewing and nor will you even accept, and know that the socialism base is going to tear this country apart, and it will also tear you apart. It will end your life as well. So you're going to have to. The second one is step away from the socialism and the negative, sinful agenda, which is also unconstitutional and also un-American. But if you don't do any of those two things, believe me, there's ways to where you will have no other alternative but to step down. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Gavin Newsom. So, one, the COVID-19 thing in California and other states that have had triple-digit temperatures and high double-digit temperatures in more than 1 week, you gotta fucking quit with the second strain thing just to bank it in stocks in the Orient, you fucking idiots. Liberal dumbasses. Because if you're only gonna go in for things for yourself, be ready to be judged for it. Because the many, many negative, sinful things that you've done, even the things that I've voiced over the number of years and the course of months and whatnot, you will be sent to the pits of hell, guaranteed. Your soul is already leading that way, as it is. And that is to the Democratic Party, the Socialist Liberal Democratic Party. This is C.R.P.H.A, Humanitarian Advocate. I salute Donald J. Trump and Mike Pence and thank them for their service, and I will vote for you again for 2020. And I salute our veterans and those who died for our country and not able to come back home, and those who did come back home even during the wars that we've had over the number of centuries and years, and also for even to the homeless vets as well as the vets that are not homeless and our senior citizen vets and also the veterans and soldiers within the current deployment of our military and armed forces. I thank you for your service. And of course, as always, I'm saluting Old Glory in a sign of respect, of course, to start with. And I thank you for your time, and I thank you for being patient while this video went on. But know this, I will always back the American people and our rights and freedoms and the Constitution, and I will always support what that flag stands for and what the Constitution stands for and protects our rights and freedoms in this country. Even if the liberal Democrats don't like it, tough shit, liberal idiots. Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen. And know this, we don't have to wear masks because the COVID-19 thing, like I said, was a weak strain. So the strain is gone. Do not fall in to the mental manipulation done and orchestrated by the liberal Democrats.